If you are looking for growth, if you are looking for transformation, if you are looking to step into your main character era, look no further than The Green Room. DM me on socials to find out more about my all-new community available at just 99 cents a month for my first 100 subscribers.
Hello, gorgeous. Happy Wisdom Wednesday and welcome back to my platform. This month, we have been talking all about boundaries. And if you've been paying attention even just a little bit, you will know that I have covered a ton of ground. I'm talking everything from identifying what a boundary even is to recognizing signs and symptoms that your boundaries need work, and then identifying strategies and areas that we can use and improve to make sure that we are living a more healthy life. Well, in today's video, I'm discussing 3 ways that healthy boundaries strengthen relationships and build trust. And who doesn't want that? Like whether it is a platonic, familial, romantic, or work relationship, having the ability to strengthen and trust the people that you're around makes a big difference, and it makes life just a little bit easier. So grab a pen and tag a friend because it's about to go down. I think that's about to be a part of my thing. Either way, we're going to dive right in. I got some notes, I got my water, and this is going to be so good. Are you ready? Okay, first things first, when we have healthy boundaries, it enhances our relationships because we are ensuring alignment between our words and our actions. And when there's alignment between those 2 things, it promotes reliability. Reliability is huge in relationships. It creates security when you know that someone is going to be their word. When you know that what they are speaking or what they are saying or claiming that they're going to do, when you know that they stand on their word, it makes it so much easier to coexist together. When you are in a romantic relationship, the more feminine energy is able to relax because she trusts that you have handled whatever it is that she was worried about. And the masculine energy is able to lower his shield because he can trust that she's going to hold on to this. She said she's going to do this, or the feminine energy has stated that they're going to do this, and everything's going to be okay. It creates a harmony there when you can be trusted, okay? So when you are your word, meaning when you say, I don't kiss on the first date, and you don't kiss on the first date, or you say, I don't kiss on the first 3 dates, and you hold your word, even if the other person is a little bit like, they're going to have mad respect for you because you held your ground. That, my love, is integrity. Integrity is honorable, okay? So number 2, that's number 1. Number 2, when you hold effective boundaries, it strengthens your relationships because you have reduced the likelihood that you're going to feel taken advantage of. One of the reasons that we struggle with setting boundaries is because we don't want to hurt people's feelings. We don't want to make them angry. We don't want to make them upset. We don't want to cause anything to like wiggle the relationship or to cause any distance between the 2 of you. But when you don't have boundaries, what ends up happening is you feel used, depleted, drugged through the ringer. It's like they ask me for my money. They ask me if they can borrow my car. They want to talk to me on the phone all night. They call me all times a day. They're texting 500 times. They dump all their emotions on me. And if you aren't speaking up, if you aren't setting a standard or a boundary, then what can you expect? We talked about this last week. I know it may be hard to communicate it clearly, but if you haven't communicated your boundary clearly, can you truly expect someone to honor it? So when you're setting effective boundaries, like I don't take the calls after 9 o'clock, or I don't loan out money. If you have ever asked me for money, you know what I say. If I'm lending you money, I'm giving it to you. And that is very rare because I just don't loan money. No, you can't drive my car. I'm sorry. Those are just boundaries that I have put in place for me. But what are your boundaries? How many texts or phone calls are you going to take in a day? How late are you going to stay up? How much are you going to lend out? How many people can drive your car? How many extra cases are you going to take on your caseload? You have to set that boundary so that you don't feel depleted because you've hyperextended yourself. I know I know. And I'm not saying that we never go the extra mile or we never do something nice or we never go out of our way. But when you are consistently going out of your way, you are stretching yourself too thin. You are putting yourself at risk of being taken advantage of. So when you set healthy boundaries, at least you drew the line, right? So you reduce the odds of being in that situation because you had parameters around what you were willing to do and how far you were willing to go. Got it? All right. Number 3, when we set healthy and effective boundaries, it helps us to promote autonomy and establish some personal space and identity. And I know you're thinking, now, Kayla, I thought this was about relationships. But the truth is that it is imperative to have some level of divide between you and another person. See, what happens really frequently is that we love someone. We're really genuinely connected to them. And it can be a lover, it can be a friend, it can be a coworker, or even your supervisor, where you absorb their ideas, their habits, their thoughts, the kind of music that they like, and you start to emulate everything that they are, and you get really caught up in what they like. And then pretty soon, it's almost like you're brainwashed and you're like, who am I and what do I like? And this gets really murky when there's something that the person does or thinks or likes that you absolutely do not. It is like adverse to your morals, to your values, to your principles, but you're afraid to speak up because you don't want to destroy the relationship. Or you assume responsibility for solving all their problems and bearing their burdens because you're friends and we love each other. And that is called codependency. And codependency is a recipe for emotional dysregulation, dysfunction, and distress. Nobody has time for that. So when you set healthy boundaries, that's when you set that line that says, hey, this is where your rights stop and my rights begin. This is when you say, you know what? That's a really interesting perspective. I think I'll have to disagree. And it's okay. It is okay. Remember, we talked about a couple of weeks ago how there can be a duality, how your friend can believe this and you can believe that, and you can still be cool. You don't have to adopt each other's mindsets. Now, I will be honest with you. There's a list of things that we can disagree on, and then there's a list of things we absolutely cannot disagree on, especially when it comes down to people, right? But for the most part, it is absolutely okay for there to be a duality in a person having complex emotions and ideas and thoughts and you not agreeing with them. So learning to set healthy boundaries allows you that opportunity to recognize what is your responsibility. I'm responsible for my behavior, for my responses, for my attitude, for my action. I am responsible for me. And the opposite person is responsible for them. And when each person has this understanding, you're more balanced. It's more equally weighted. And you can say, you know what? That really hurt your feelings. And I apologize for the way that made you feel. But you don't take ownership and you don't necessarily change your mind. But at least you can recognize that I don't have ownership for the way that you behave and what you think and what you do. Got it? I know it can get a little hairy. And that is why I am hosting the Boundaries Bootcamp. It is 3 days and it kicks off at 8 a.m. today. Get in there. I'm going to drop a link here. If you're already in the Boundaries Bootcamp, I want you to invite a friend. In this bootcamp, we're going to do a rehash. We're going to talk about what is a boundary even anyway. We're going to talk about those signs and symptoms to recognize that your boundaries need some work. And we're going to talk about 5 different types of boundaries that are essential to long-term success and happiness. And then we're going to tie everything up with a bow and talk about processing and strategies for managing all that guilt that comes with setting a boundary for somebody that you really care about, because that's some serious stuff, okay? I love you. I want the best for you. I am wishing you all the joy in boundary setting. And just know that no matter how much of a perfectionist or people pleaser or whatever you are, it is possible for you to become a boundaries boss. I have been there. I was the world's worst grade A people pleaser, and I beat it. And so can you. I love you, girl. I appreciate you, girl. And I cannot wait to chat with you in the next one. Actually, I'll see you in boot camp.